What is going on, everybody? It's a legendary host, Daryl Wingfield, and welcome back to another Purpose Served podcast episode. Can y'all believe it? We're on episode 116. This is nuts. This is nuts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a big number.
I have a, oh, for real?
116, that's a good number, isn't it?
Oh, snap. I thought you said that was your favorite number. I was like,
no. 116, that's a big number. That's a lot of podcasts, man.
Oh, yeah. I've been talking about this ever since I crossed over that 100 episode mark that I can't believe, honestly, that I've been going on for this long. I started doing this in the September of 2020.
Wow.
So it's unbelievable the amount of people that I had on here. I haven't had a lot. All in all, I probably had around 20-25 guests out of these 100 plus podcast episodes.
Wow.
Ranging from first round draft pick in the NBA, Purvis Ellison on here, to people that do social work, musicians, artists, like all different type of people from all different walks of life. And the main purpose and the main goal is to show people that no matter what life that you're walking in, there's purpose behind that, and you can serve people around you or serve life in general. But I remember when we met last week, I was just speaking to you in that regard on like the twofold nature of what has turned into me within these last couple of months, and I brought it to the podcast, is not separating my faith from pretty much anything that I'm doing, including this, and the twofold nature of the greatest commandments, which is to love the Lord your God with everything that you have, all your might, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And one is spiritual and one is physical. And that goes hand in hand also with serving your purpose, essentially speaking. But to introduce our guest today, Chris Avery.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. Excited to talk, man.
So we have a special guest, man, on here. He has been running for, I would want to say, over the last 3 years. What, every single day?
Yeah, so over 4 years now. It's almost 1,500 days. So we started January 9th of 2022, and we are still running.
Man, that is insane. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't tell you the last time that I ran more than 2 miles, and that was probably like 2 years ago. That's kind of crazy. I think your feet got more mileage than my car.
Man, it certainly, I thought about that before, like looking at the mileage even for the bigger run that we're doing. I go like, oh yeah, we'll drive about the same as the amount of somebody driving a year in a car. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, man. And the one thing that I have to ask you in regards to this, because towards the end, we will be getting into your record-breaking thing that you're going to be getting into starting off next year. Cool. But before we get into that, I'm going to ask you, what started off your running journey in general?
Yeah, hating it really is what started my running journey. I'm going to be honest. So, I'll make this long story short, but I hated running so much, man. I did it 5 times in 20 years. And then I met a lady and she was running marathons, and that's what really sparked it. Was she started running marathons. She's like, you want to run with me? I was like, how far is a marathon? She's like 26 point, because I had no idea. She's like 26.2 miles. And I said, yeah, no, I don't nope, not gonna ever do that. And I'm like, and you pay people? And she's like, oh yeah, it's like $100. And I was like, what? I was like, I can run for free. Nobody charges me anything. Go outside and run for free. And so she ran her first marathon. We supported her, and then we got married, and she was gonna run her last marathon. And that was where her friends were going to run with her, but they didn't train enough. So about a month out, they called her and said like, hey, we're dropping out. We're not going to run. And then she came to me and said, hey, like, I think I'm going to drop out. I said, absolutely not. I was finally like a good teammate, want to be a good leader, be a good husband. So I said, hey, I'll run it with you. The only stipulation is I'm just going to I'm not going to train at all. I'll just get new shoes and walk in them, and we'll go run it together. I want to see if I'm mentally tough enough. And that was really the big catalyst that led to the running that we do now, But it started with, and the reason we chose to start the 1,400 days is because like I hated running so much. I wanted to show people how much God like really makes us capable of doing and achieving. and how much when we face those hard things every day, like what we really have, how unlimited we actually are inside ourselves, and we don't give ourselves credit for it. So that's really where it started, man.
It's so deep, man. Honestly, what you just said, and the paradox in it that I just even heard is just that her friends dropped out from not training enough, and you didn't have no training at all, and you decided that I'm going in this thing full fledged. I'm jumping in it, and that is insane to even prove that point of what you just said.
Thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate that. And you're right, it is insane. And I mean, I'll be honest, I just love it. I love the contrast, man. I love being like the different piece of it, you know, a different piece of the story than just the typical person trains a lot for a marathon. And
Right.
I wanted to see, like, do you really need to train that much? Is it really as hard as everybody says? And so it's just fun, man. It was a fun experiment.
So in this fun experiment, was it as fun as everybody said when you first did it?
Yeah, it was actually way better than what everybody said. I'm gonna be honest. Like
Wow.
everybody says, and it is tough, man. I'm not trying to say it's not by any means.
Right.
Uh, I will say this, man. I think the conversation around training and how much you need to train prevents a lot of people from even attempting it. And
Mm,
so when I look at the funness of it, it was fun because I got to see really what I was capable of. Like, could I really do it? Is it mental more than physical? And really finishing that day, I just went like, man, this gave me broke down my body, broke me down like physically, mentally, but spiritually. I was set like at a spiritual high when I finished, and such a deep connection that I didn't realize I would ever have from running. And that was such a huge piece to it.
and at that point, did you have a lot of like this is a I guess odd question to ask, but did you have a lot of spiritual experiences up until that point that brought you to that sort of magnitude
It's a
before?
great question, Daryl. Man, nobody's ever asked me that. So that was a great follow up, man. No, I had not. Like, you know, like I knew God as far
Yeah.
as, you know, like I believed in God. I trusted in him. I'm 41 now. I started running when I was 37. And when I found God, I was 31. So I'd known him for about 6 years before that, but no experience like had ever experienced that way. The running was the only way that like was unleashed for me.
Mm, that's that I believe we kind of like talked about this like last week, but I'm like unsure right now. But it just it always seemed like a theme. Of course, like it's an exception to like all rules, but it always seemed like God like meets people in a dark place, man. Like in a dark place where you at least expect them to meet you at. And the fact that you just said that your body was broken, you know, and honestly your spirit was broken, um, that seemed like that's all the times where God appears most, you
Yeah.
know.
Can I can,
So
can I say something about that real quick?
absolutely,
Cool, man. I just want to
absolutely,
say this. Like, I think it's more that we recognize God in those points.
mm,
God's always there.
right,
It's like, are we turning towards him or away from him? And if you look, it's because most of us, especially when you live in a country like America, you can survive. Like you can make it food wise, money. So we push God out a lot in those
yeah,
situations because, like, oh man, I'm doing okay. I got food, I got gas, I got a car, you know, I got marriage, kids, like life's good. But when the darkness happens, it's when then we go like, oh my goodness, man, like I'm so weak, I can't handle this without God. So we think in these moments when we're doing good, like, oh, we don't need God as much. And
yeah,
so to me, that's the reason it's so important. And I was talking to a friend at church one day, and he's like, man, you just seem like you are like in a spot where you really are like deeply connected to God. And I said, man, I think everybody, no matter where they're at in their life, one piece of their life, they should be desperate in it for God because we need desperation, right? We need that tasty meat, and we need to know like we somewhere in our life we need to feel like we're starving a little bit, and we need
right,
God's meat. And I don't think we put ourselves in positions enough in life to be starving and need him to nourish us. And so to me, man, I love being in spots, and I love finding spots. And that's one of the main things from training, even in the run, is that you get in so many spots over and over, from, you know, lack of money, lack of time, like injuries, disagreements with your wife, you know, kids whatever, shin splints for a year. You get in a lot of spots where you feel like desperate for your connection with him. So you seek it out more and you put time and energy into it. And then boom, you find more of it.
And would you say this is gonna be like, I guess, a kind of a theme for a little bit right now, but would you say for all of that, was it more so you turning inward for that experience with God, or was it external things that more so was pushing you to that point?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. And I think like, I think there's a push and pull because
Right.
I want to be honest. I think there's always a push and pull. I think it's
Yeah.
much more of an internal thing though, right? Like there's the external factors, but man, it's easy to have external factors. And for me in my past, it's been easy to have external factors that feel like they suck. And I didn't turn inward. I didn't turn to God. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I turned to Zach opposite way, bro. And
Right.
so to me, Daryl, like I think about it this way, man. I think like it's an internal game. That's where your spirit is. That's where your soul is. That's where it knows and it directs you if you're willing to listen to it. So I think it's an internal game mostly, but the external pressure can still make the internal cracking of the seed happen. And so to
Mm,
me, right, sometimes the external pressure has to, the soil has to become so deeply pressured to crack the seed. So the little shell that the seed is holding can come through.
right.
And so to me, like, I don't know that necessarily it even always has to be an internal thing, but the external pressure can be the fracturing that you need to break and remake you.
Mm. And that's the one thing that I definitely do agree with you like on. I believe that um everything that we're experiencing is in a way that's beyond my comprehension and understanding is one and the same when it comes to like what's happening externally outside of us and internally. But I also agree with you that the primary source is internal, and we recognize this through external things that's happening. And the breaking points, man, there's a choice. There's always a choice that you can either turn and face the light of God, or you can simply turn away. And I associate that, man, with facing the blackest of the black and the deepest of the deep that you could possibly face, man. And how in times like that, when you get to those points, how do you stay on track to the point where external pressures don't break you, essentially speaking? Because that's a lot that you just said, man, with
Yeah.
dealing with so many factors all across the board, with family, um living situation, your body literally breaking down, and then after that it's still focusing on the goal at hand. So how do you like manage that when those moments happen?
Yeah. I think manage is a good way of putting it, man. Um, I want to say this. I think when we look at those type of things that happen, there is an internal conversation that comes from them. And I want to even go back to what you were saying, where like the external things they cause a pressure, but that's where you have the freedom to choose which way. Like, do you put them internally and go with scriptures where it says like you have a heart change, or does it harden your heart and you
Mm,
turn away from God? And so when I look at those things, man, I started to turn much more to God. And that was really the truth is how do you overcome these things, man? You realize that I realize that I'm really weak and then I need God a lot more. And really, man, I thought when I first started this, like I would pray to God, but God, give me more strength. God, give me more strength, because I thought it was about my strength. And then I remember just when I was praying one day, hearing, stop praying for your strength and pray for my strength.
mm,
And then I realized, like, and then just as you read scriptures, and it says, like, you're weak, you're weak. Like, this is like the weakness isn't even meant, it's not a put down,
right.
right? It's a way for God to, it's the cracks for God to shine his light through you. So because we know that, I go like, man, I am really weak, but God is really strong. So I don't need to rely on my strength. I don't need to make myself better. I need to rely more on him. And when I do that, man, life becomes more during the storms or during that pressure, life becomes more peaceful,
Yeah.
more comforting, and more clear. And that means that I can now have a sound mind, have his power, and feel loved. And that's First Timothy or Second Timothy 1:7. If you want to, like, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He gives us of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And so to me, when I look at that, I go like, man, that's what we're tapping into. That's the real energy source, because it's not like when you make it all about you, it's really hard to keep going on the hard days. Cause like, man, most of us are willing to quit on ourselves. But when we realize it's about like the men I serve, it's about God, it's about my family. Now it becomes a bigger thing than me. So it's so much harder to like quit on or give up on. And when I look at those things, those are just key factors that we can start to dial in our life. And every time we have those, shin splits come up, we can go like, man, see, this is a reason to not do it. Instead, we have to switch that self-talk in our head and go like, man, this shows me that I'm capable of doing it.
Man,
and that's such a big shift.
That's what you just said. It's so contrary to the way society. I can't speak for the whole entire world.
Yeah. But, go ahead though. Do it, Daryl. Speak for the whole world. Give it to us, man. It's your world. We're living in it. Go.
World, man. You're right, Chris. I'm going for it, man. I'm speaking for the whole entire world right now, man. I'm speaking for the whole world. in our society now, man, it just seems like it's so contrary to that, where it's you, in a sense, where you are at the center of everything. This is what society is like gearing us towards. Like, your strength comes from you. Essentially, like, we ourselves are gods, and especially in like the new age spirituality, whatever you want to call it, that's kind of like a mantra that they even say is that you are like God. Yep. And this is, I wish I talked to you about this before we started recording like last week, but
it's just a conversation between two people. Don't worry, nobody's listening. So you say what you want. We're just talking.
Yeah. I'm about to just start rattling off. But I asked three questions, like three specific questions, and I asked people: are you your thoughts? Are you your feelings? And are you your body?
Mm.
And do you want me to answer off of that?
Do you want me to answer those?
I would love for you to answer them three questions.
Yeah, I think you're none of those.
I'll let that answer.
Okay.
In the podcast right here.
Yeah, I think you're none of those, right? Like you.
And what is your reason for saying that?
Yeah, man, because I believe we were created with a spirit and soul, right? Like because we have connection to the spirit and we have a soul. The soul is like the life that God breathes into us, and then we have the spirit that resides in us and connects with us, so we can feel the spirit. And so, to me, you're none of those things. Those are all an illusion that we are creating and we're living in. And I'll be honest, they're not you. Because if you really dive deep into it, there's times where you can go like, man, this is a really like nasty thought. And you go like, that is not your thought. That seed is being planted in your head by somebody else. And so you're just picking it up and carrying it around. And I can we'll just do this stupid experiment. You can go through your past, and anybody do this right now. Spend 5 minutes right now just thinking about your past and go like, do I believe this thing because I really believe it, or because like my mom did it? Or because somebody else told me it? Because I can tell you right now, I'm in Utah right now. My family lives in Arizona. We go back for the holidays, and then my mom will be talking, and I'll be like, oh, that's the reason I don't like that. Oh,
it is. I'm not the source of that.
Yeah, I'm not the source of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just picked it up and I'm carrying it around, but I'm not even the source of that. So I thought I was, but I'm not. Yeah. So I know therefore I know like none of these things are really me. Like we can collect them and call them us, but they're not us. That's all.
I love that you said that as so like a matter of fact. Wow. But majority of people, man, it's just amazing that when I do ask them those three questions, how often I'm getting for 2 out of the 3, all 3, 1 of the 3, and they're stumped when I'm just like, you're none of those things.
Yeah.
They're just like, how? And
no, sir, I'm all of them. Look at me. I can see my body.
Yeah. And it's like, man, you don't have control over any of those things.
Absolutely.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, try to make your hair grow. Go ahead. I really need it, but so if you can do that, somebody hit me up. But you got funny hair, so maybe that's a bad experience. But you know what I'm saying? Like, try to make your fingernails grow. It just doesn't happen, man, because you don't have control over it. It's not you.
And coming to that realization is such a humbling experience, and it also it genuinely it feels good, man, to know that. With that being said, that there is a creator that created creation and everything in the universe, but also that you can have a personal relationship at the same time. And that's where all of your faith should be going in the first place, instead of yourself, which of ourselves, we can do absolutely nothing, And I think that was very moving and powerful about what you do on a daily is bring yourself to that point on a daily. At some given point, even to start the day off, it's like that you will reach a breaking point, and the daily grind and the daily battle was how to overcome that. So I thought that was like important for you to speak on. Another thing I would like to ask you is how important are goals to you?
Do you want the real answer?
I want the real answer.
They're almost 0% important to me.
Wow. And why do you say that?
Yeah, I think.
Wow. I was not expecting that. I like that.
So for our honeymoon, me and my wife, when I say ran, it is very quote unquote ran. We walked, but we did a Spartan race. Okay. So you do the obstacle and then there's a little run. So like we, walked and jogged a little bit, but we set a goal to like do this training. Okay. And to run so we ran all 3 Spartan races in a calendar year, which is called the trifecta. If you don't know what Spartan races are, they're just running with obstacles. And so we did that together. We trained together, we did it together, and we ran them together. We got to go to 3 different places and have 3 different honeymoons, and it was really fun. At the end of that, though, I set a goal. And what I realized is goals have deadlines and like dates. And so that means it's not about becoming something, it's about finishing something. I don't like to finish things, I like to become something. And so to me, like if I want to be a runner, I don't want to set a like, hey, I'm going to run. And then I have this, because that's what we did. We were training all this stuff, training hard. And then we just stopped training because we hit our goal. Yeah, like, why do we need to train? Zero. Like we had a training goal around the goal. Why do we need to train anymore? We don't. We're already done with the goal. Yeah. So to me, I like to look at vision and go like, who do I want to become? And then I like to set up like checkpoints. And I like to go like, man, not am I hitting this by a certain date, but am I moving am I on the race course? Am I on the run course? And am I still moving in the right direction? Did I get like, I'm running through the desert, let's just say like, did I get out? Did I go right on the cactus? I should have went left. Okay, cool. I got to correct. But I don't like set goals where it's, hey man, like this type of thing until this point. They just don't bring the results that I want. And they don't bring the long-term heart change and internal change that I want. So I don't love goals as much because they're not about transformation. They're about like ingesting information and hitting a certain stopping point.
That's so wild. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie.
Dude, tell me what you're thinking, man. I want to hear it.
I partly like I agree with you, and I also disagree with you.
Love it.
The part that I agree with is the main point of is ultimately the goals should help you shape of who you become more than it is that goal itself. And having that end date, that is an issue. But I think that goals are important. And the standpoint of it almost creates like a sense of urgency to get something done in a certain time limit. And it can eliminate procrastination. But the one thing that I've noticed based off of what you just said, which is something that I talked about in the past, is just that when you do think of goals and that the latter way of this is what this thing is that I have to accomplish, it almost takes away from your character and it takes away your spirit. And another important thing that was like crucial of what you just said is that it never kind of turns out how it's supposed to be when you do accomplish a goal, or if you fail that goal in itself, as if your life was that goal.
Yep.
And with me playing basketball, I've went through that so many times where if I didn't accomplish a goal in a set amount of time, it made me feel less of myself. When in the long run, it's like that didn't even matter to begin with. And at the end of the day, it's about who was I becoming. And it took me years to learn that crucial lesson. So your central point, I 100% agree with. Yeah, I guess I'm agreeing to disagree.
I love it, man. I love disagreement. Like I love disagreement. It's one of my favorite. That's how we learn, man. Like if we're just telling each other what we already know, we're closed loops, right?
Right,
Like, but if we want to enter new information, like you got to open the loop. So I love disagreeing, man. It's how we both get. That's how right sharpen each other. That's how we sharpen
right,
each other,
right,
man.
right, right,
For
right.
sure.
What do you notice about just a general question about the climate of society and the spirit of the times right now from what you see, like from people from a spiritual aspect? That's a very vague and general question, but based off of whatever it is that just came up,
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
All right, man. I'm gonna give it to you then. So this is what I think, man. I think we're in crazy times.
Mm,
I think we're in crazy spiritual times, and I think we're in crazy dark times. You know why I think we're both? Because I believe there's always the balance. God doesn't give us something without a balance. So
right.
if you're just like with my kids are the ultimate joy factory, right? They just smile and happy as all can be. You know what they also are? Man, like the crazy, like I don't want to go to the bathroom. I'm yelling out, right? Like just hunker down, like
Yeah.
absolute opposite because they have to balance each other. See, most of us want the up. We want like, oh yeah, man, dude, I'm growing, man, everything's good. Yeah, the truth of the matter is it's this.
Right.
And then it's a little bit more up, and then it's a little less down, and then you figure out but to be honest, man, like when I look at it, I go, spiritually, we are in one of the greatest times. There are way more people like drawing closer to God than ever before. On the tip of that, we then have to realize there are far less people going towards God because like that group is now hunkered down and going in opposite ends. So we're separating. That's the concern. So
Yeah.
it's harder to meet in the middle and figure out where we go from here. Right. So that's my bigger concern. But to me, man, what a great opportunity. What a
Mm,
great situation we are to have truth and have love and justice like sort its way out and help each other learn where we can grow and be better because everything is happening for us, right?
yeah.
Like because I believe in God. Like so when I have shin splints for a year, they're happening for me. Man, when I have a hernia that I can't like that I need to go get surgery on, but I figure out a way to do it, like that's happening for me. So to me, when I look at these things, I look at all these things as happening for us because God wins, man.
Right.
God's never lost. He's not going to choose to do that now. So at the end of the day, this isn't about this world or us. It's about God. And so I know that, man. So I have like strong faith and trust that it's all working out for us. It's all meant to be. We're all meant to learn something and grow here.
That's kind of like for me personally speaking,
Yeah.
the I wouldn't say necessarily that the times that we are living in is scary. But it do create in me sometimes the like a sense of despondency
Okay.
for the climate of the world. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's almost as if you got people that can see, that can really really see, but then you got people that are blind as blind can be, and ain't nothing you can say and ain't nothing you can do to even help them out. And even in regards to the faith with being a Christian, that I even recognize that sometimes with people in the faith as well, and it makes it even a little bit even more difficult to maneuver through the nooks and crannies of life. And that's when I say, for me personally, at this present moment, and for a while now, but at this present moment, is let me know right now, relationship is the most important thing to develop with God more than anything else. And going back to mentioning that greatest commandment is just putting that above any and everything else, and just learning as time goes on that through putting all faith and love in God and fearing God, that it naturally works out everything for you, even if we don't have like the clearest picture in hand. And I guess at times like this, it's like very like reminiscent of like the prophets in times past, man, when they got a glimmer of the light and being surrounded by darkness, man, and trying to go to the darkness with the light, and they're just like, sorry, bud, I kind of didn't want to hear that. That wasn't it, and you're gonna have to go, bud. And they're just like, okay, my time has come, but I seen the ages of all ages, and I seen the future for what the future is. And I believe that the one thing that you said is like that separation of like that light and darkness, but it seemed like the opposing natures are growing as time goes on, man. And it makes me concerned about what the current generations is about to go through, because it just seemed like they're more lukewarm than having a side, whether they like or hate something. They just totally indifferent. And I think that indifference is a very dangerous thing, man. When you just like, I don't care, honestly, what happens, you know? And do you notice a difference between like in people nowadays?
Do I notice a difference? Would you say that again? The last part?
Difference in people nowadays. Like,
oh, absolutely, man. Like apathy, you're saying?
Pretty much. Yeah. Absolutely. That's actually on point.
Yeah, man. So I'll say it this way. And no, by no means do I know better than anybody else. But over 41 years, I've seen a few generations now. And man, I go, this is going to, I wasn't alive during this, but just go with this. Like, man, there were youth that loved Elvis Presley. The parents didn't.
Yeah.
In the 60s, the kids loved rock and roll. The parents didn't. In the 80s, people loved like punk rock, right? Like in the 90s, it was gangster rap. And the parents didn't. Yeah. And so like, I think there's always the contrast. And man, we can go read scriptures. Jesus comes to turn the son against the father and the daughter against the mother. Why is that? Let's really think about that. Like Jesus came in and told you everything you think you thought now is being flipped on its head. I'm the solution to all those things. Well, of course, now like if I'm the young son, like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm going to believe that. And like, so of course I'm going to be different than my dad because he believes in the Old Testament laws. I don't anymore. And so to me, when I look at this, I think I was apathetic. I feel like when I was a kid too. And I feel like it's very consistent that way. And then as you grow older, you grow more relationships that are healthy. You grow tighter connected to a group of people, sometimes your family, friends, and you go like, man, these are the important things. Now things do matter. And as you get older, you realize like, man, I'm not a kid anymore and I don't get just playtime. Like I'm growing up into the world now and I'm going to have to take on these responsibilities. And I think once we get more responsibilities, we realize more things matter. And so that makes us become less apathetic towards things. And I'm not saying that's going to be the way the world works. That's just what I've seen, from time after time. It seems like there's patterns. Yeah.
Wow. Good answer. With that being said, where do you see the climate of when it like in regards to manhood nowadays?
Yeah, man, that is a big challenge, I think, for most of us growing up as men, and I just got off the phone with somebody and he's older than me, but he's like, man, I feel like that's still very like consistent for even his age group. And I think there's so much information in the world coming at us that it becomes very hard to filter that information. And the challenge we don't get taught as kids is we don't get taught to filter it through a good filter. Meaning if we connected to ourselves at our soul level and connected to God, it would be easier to filter things. But instead we just start getting stuff thrown at us. Our parents tell us who we are and we accept some of it. But man, as for men right now, it is the biggest challenge to find, how do you have a relationship with a lady? Like, are you getting with a lady that doesn't like masculinity? Are you getting with one that like wants you to provide? Are you getting with one that doesn't want you to provide at all and wants to have, equal income, or however you want to say that,
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's 50-50. Yeah. So it's more confusing than ever. Yeah. Right? Because there's so like, not saying that options are bad, but there's too many options. So then it becomes overwhelmed. And so you don't know which way to move. So you just end up feeling stuck. And then that happens if you look at relationships now, like women and men are dating less and getting married less because there's so much overwhelm and there's so much of them talking about the limits and the inabilities of people. Like, oh man, I would date, but like these guys just, they all ghost me. Oh man, like that guy isn't 6'2" and doesn't get paid enough, right? So we're speaking to everybody's limitations and inabilities and then trying to find a mate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, like, God doesn't look at your limitations. God says, man, like you are a creation of mine. So you are unlimited because I made you. And with me, you are completely unstoppable.
Right.
Yet most of us, again, when we look at this, we're not looking at each other's from like, oh man, these are the good things you do. We're looking at nitpicking at all the things that we don't like about the person. And for me, even for my own marriage, I'll just give you this, and this has nothing to do with my answer, but I just want to tell you. So I'm going to tell you because I'm here talking and you're listening. So Daryl, I love this, man. Like me and my wife during our first few years, like about 3 years in, we were just fighting so much. And I was like, man, I think we're going to get divorced. You know, we discussed it. We talked about like how that would look. We only had one little kid at the time, but we were just arguing all the time. And we started to do this journal thing. So every night we'd sit down and we'd write down 1 to 3 things that we loved, admired, adored, were fond of, that we were thankful for about the other person. So we'd write them out. So I'd write them out about my wife, and then I'd read them to her. It takes about 10 minutes a night. If anybody wants to improve their marriage, improve any type of relationship they're in, just be grateful for more, do this. And so then we'd read them to each other. We did that for almost a straight year. And since the day we did that, man, our marriage has almost been a 180 because we stopped looking for the things that we didn't like about each other. We stopped looking for the things that were different than the way my family did it. Now you do it like you put the toilet paper on different than I do, right? Like we stopped looking for those little things and nitpicked. And we started looking for all the things we loved and all of our abilities and all of our capabilities. And when we did that, now we lift each other up instead of like trying to like subtract from each other's whole. Because when we subtract from each other, we make each other feel less. But when we keep adding value in, that person stays at full or whole.
Right. Man, well, I thank you for like sharing that.
Yeah.
That was like valuable information. You're saying a lot of valuable stuff, man. I can't even lie. You really are. Do you think that the internet is playing a huge part into what people are like their thoughts and feelings towards like relationships and looking for a spouse and all of that? Do you think
absolutely. I mean, I think we're making it play that, but we are again, we're closed loops. So we're priming our brain because man, like think about it. If I came up to you and I had some like magic wand and you believed all these things and I could get you like, if I waved a magic wand and then like you now had both thoughts the exact opposite of one way. And so like you had countering thoughts, you would feel crazy because you go like, I don't know which one's right. I don't know which one's right. This goes back to dating and men and how they should be. So you start to feel crazy. So if we look at that, man, like when the internet and let's just say social media, because that's what it is priming our brain, right? Like, so it's priming our brain in this filter system where it goes like, okay, hey man, like I believe this way. Okay. So I start to like those things. Well, of course the algorithm goes like, hey, we want to keep you on. So we're going to send you more stuff. And then you go like, see, everybody thinks like guys are crazy. Everybody thinks guys are crazy. And it's the only person that's crazy is a person thinking every guy's crazy because you're stuck in this loop and you're in the crazy loop.
Yeah.
But if you look next to you, there's be a really great guy, but you already called him crazy and wrote him off because your loop is closed and you're priming your pump to reinforce what you believe. And that's not a bad thing. That's just the way our brain functions. So if we want to like prime our pump to look for something better in life, we have to start to like take control of it and start to tell ourselves what we want to think about men. Because guess what? There's always a good man. There's always a good woman. Like my favorite thing is when they're like, oh, all women are that way. Like they're not. Not all men are that way. You know, like let's just be real. You may be searching the wrong area. You may be the wrong person to find that person. I'll say that. That's more likely. More likely you aren't doing the things in your own life to attract the person that you really want to find. You're doing the things in your life to attract the person that you've already found that you don't want.
Don't nobody want to hear that, man. I'm never the problem, man.
You're right. It was the other person. I apologize. Up front. That was just for me, not for you guys. you guys are the, since it's all about you, you guys are the whole enchilada. The other one are just the side of beans, and they're never going to be the whole enchilada with you. So you got to go find another whole enchilada. Not your fault, their fault. They're beans. You know? So go find another enchilada. Oh man.
But to that point, man, I think that is extremely important that people genuinely like work on themselves. And that's such a cliche thing to say, but it seems like the cliche things is always holds the most truth and the most value. And what I'm starting to notice, especially talking like a decent amount of people, is just like the social media. We could just pinpoint it to that, like you said, but it's creating this dystopia in people's heads that's just like, this is not how the world naturally works. This is not the real world. This digital world is what you're bringing into your personal life, and it's not real, and you're making it real. And the scariest thing that I'm seeing with the internet and technology in general is like AI. AI is like pretty nuts. And I'm concerned of what is going to be doing to us like in the next like 5 years, 10 years, let alone the next like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And
what will it do? Like, what will it do to us?
What happened?
What will it do to us?
That's the biggest thing. And if people don't know how to do or don't even care about like due diligence and doing their own work and doing their own research and saying like, I'm gonna just type in a few prompt words and let this thing come to me, let a video come to me, and then other people are taking it as is and just looking at it as the truth. And it's just like, that to me is going to be extremely dangerous for people that ultimately like discernment.
You're right. It will. You're absolutely right, man.
This is why I'm really, really big. Like when I talk to people on do the best that you can to disengage from, even though it's like they're making us one and the same with our phones and our devices, but do the best that you can to really be in the presence of the people around you. Do the best that you can to be in nature, be in fresh air, because it's something about that. It is something about that that really brings life to you that I can't explain, because it's a part of God's natural order. And that's something that you get to experience on a daily every time you step outside and run around the world to come back before you get home. But you know, getting some fresh air and being a part of nature, which a lot of people are, they only want to go out based off of what they see on social media. That's the reason for them to go out instead of just going out just to live. And at a certain point, life was like that, you know. But how do you feel about AI, artificial intelligence?
I love it.
No.
I think it's a beneficial tool, man. I think it is. I think it's just like social media. Like it is good. It is not social media that's a problem. It is not AI. That's what it is, man. You said the word discernment.
Yeah.
Like shame on us for blaming outside things. Like that's just so we don't take responsibility for it. Like absolutely. If I get on Instagram and I look at stuff and it's not good stuff, the only reason it's giving it to me is because I keep looking at it.
Right.
It's not giving. It's not like they don't go out and go like, oh, Chris, hey, I'm going to send you fights. Like people fighting in the streets. I never see that. You know why? Because I don't like that. I would never look it up, and I would never watch more than a second of it. I turn it off as soon as it happened. Right. But other people love that. And then they go like, oh, see all these people, they fight. Everybody's fighting. No, it's because you love fighting, so you're looking at everybody fighting, so you think everybody's fighting. Right. And the truth is they're not. Right. The truth is, even like where we talk about like the darkness and the light, there is people in between. It's just we only look at the polar opposites and then we talk about them a ton. And so to me, when I look at AI, man, I think you're right. AI will bring all those things you just said. Like it'll bring concerns about what you can trust and is this video real? And it already is. Then there also is the other side of it where people use AI to, you know, like make amazing things happen, create amazing things that would never be created, to be able to come up with new like ways to heal people's health, to purify water. There'll be all those things because of AI. There'll be people that gain massive amount of wealth and can make huge changes in this world and impact people's lives in a great way because they made the money. So there's also that side to it. And to me, I never look at it as like a lump sum. You know, there's always it is a spectrum of colors, and the truth is you just have to like figure out which colors you like connect with. And it even goes back to like the electronics and going outside. Like these electronics are all running at a certain frequency. When you
Yeah.
go outside, you're running, just so you know, like you're an electronic battery. You're running at a certain frequency. So when you stay around this frequency, it makes you feel sick and unhealthy.
Right.
So that's feedback for you from your body saying like, this is probably not good to be around all the time. Shut those off. Then when you go outside and you feel like healed or you hear the birds chirp, because if you can go look this up, I'm not going to do a ton of it, but you can go look up how birds affect you, how they affect plant life. If they didn't whistle in the morning when the sun came up, you can go look at how like flowers would act different or when it open up. You can go look at how we would act different or when it open up. And so there's things that happen at certain times in this rhythmic way, and we're dysregulating it by not enjoying or being part of that because we're trying to like stick in our certain areas that we think are safe and like comfortable. But with comfort comes no growth. So when we stay around the comfort, we get sick. But when we go do the challenging things, because sometimes it's more challenging to get off my couch and stop watching TV than just to go outside and look at the sun for a few minutes, you know? But when you go outside and you do the challenging thing, then you feel healthier.
Right.
This is just a catalyst for life. You do the easy things, you feel unhealthy and sick, you'll be in the hospital more, you'll feel fatter, you'll be unhealthy, you'll eat fast food, you'll feel like crap. That's the easy thing. And then when we go do the harder thing outside, that really resonates with us more, but it's harder to do, we feel healthy.
There one of the books that I like have back there, the Philokalia was just talking about that. One of the monks was speaking on what you just said on how the ease of life creates increases the passions within the body, and you ultimately like your soul start to crave what the body wants instead of what the spirit wants, and it ultimately leads the soul to death quicker rather than going for the things that you have to toll you with and that you got to absolutely work for. And this brings me to another question of when was the last time that you took a break from running?
Oh, geez. That was January 8th of 2022. Before I ever started was my last day off, you know? And like my wife even says, like, what are you going to do after the run? And I said, you know, like, she's like, will you stop running? And I said, I'll say it like this. I won't run, 30 miles a day. I won't run 18 miles a day every day. But I said, the day I don't want to feel good is the day I stop running. And think about it, man. Like even going back to electronic things, like these are all worldly things we're talking about, like the computer, it's all worldly stuff.
Right.
But the deep like connection you have with the outside stuff, that's a spiritual connection. So if you're after the spirit, your spirit gets raised. If you're after the flesh, your spirit sinks down. So your energy sinks down and you feel crappier. And so, man, like it's been for over 4 years since a break, and I'm sure it'll be really nice to have one. And in some sense, I'm sure it would be really not nice to have one.
And this for you got a huge goal in 2027.
Yeah.
Going back to goals. But you plan on doing something pretty big, and that's running around like the perimeter of the United States of America. Insane, people. That is freaking insane. I want to know, like, how did that goal get started, and what makes you want to like commit to doing that? That's insane, bro.
Yeah. So January 1st, 2027, we will start in Arizona and we will run down, through Texas, through Florida. And so we'll do our best to stick as close to the border as possible, or stick, closest to the roads as possible, closest to the border of America. We'll run down the over to the East Coast. We'll go up the East Coast, across the top, back down. That's about 12,000 miles that we'll do that year. So we'll run 31.1 miles every day of the calendar year. So 365 days straight we'll run. And really, man, the how it started was this. Was we did the run, we did the marathon with no training, then we did a 50 miler like a year after that, and we did like a 60,000 push-up pull-up challenge like after that as well. And I thought, I woke up in January of 2022 and I just like, man, I got to do something bigger. I got to do something bigger to inspire more people, to impact more people. Like I want to see, I hate running so much. Like I want to see if I can do it. Want to see if I can. I never run more than 4 days straight, so I want to see if I can do a week straight. And then while we were doing that and formulating that game plan, and then I was like, man, I want to show people what a 5-year plan looks like. So we're like, all right, let's push it out. We'll create something big. And initially like I said, when we started this, somebody was running across the United States, so straight across, and it's about 3,300 miles. So we're like, okay, that could be cool. Like, let's look that up. So my wife quickly searches that. 200 to 500 people done that. Nope, that's not it. Like, because it sounds funny, like that's not that many people, but we are the people that love to be unique. Like we know that about our identity. So we know that about ourselves. So we know ourselves. So we go like, okay, so we want to look for something that's like one of one, like nobody's ever done. So my wife, is researching, and we're like, we could do a V. So go from the upper West Coast down to the bottom of Texas, back up to the East Coast. And we looked that up. Then we're like, we could go across America and back at 6,600 miles. And then we're like, no, none of that's enough. And then we kept training. So we didn't know the end goal, to be honest. But we had a vision for that it would be big and that we do something big. And so then we started training. And then about 2 years, I think it is roughly 2.5 years into it, my wife, we're still discussing, do we run 30 miles? Do we run 50 miles? And then we go like, okay, we're going to run 30 miles because we want to show people with kids and like their families, like you can do this with your kids. You can do this because you're creating an incredible experience and a legendary story that nobody else will ever do besides you. And so we want to show people that. We want people to like feel their own story from our story. And so when we did that, my wife's like, don't do 50 miles. That's too far. You're not going to have any time with the family. Like we're doing this to have time with the family and show people that. So we decided on 31.1. And when she was doing that, she was just looking up and she goes like, what if we run the perimeter? We're like, I don't know. It sounds really cool. Like that could be amazing, man. And she's like, let me look and see how many people have done that. So I'm like, cool. So she researches it, and there's a few people that have run like some route of the perimeter or run the whole thing and split and had days off and, kind of just did it at their own pace. And then that's when we decided like, let's go for the most amount of ultra marathons consecutively. And let's go set a Guinness Book of World Records. Let's go show people when you rely on God's strength and you have his blessing and anointing over you, like, and you're aligned with him, what amazing things you could do. And show like even with your family, hey, you don't have enough money, good, me too, man. You have like hernia, good, me too. You have shin splints, me too, man. You have like just arguments with your wife, near divorce, good, me too, right? Like, oh good, you had kids, me too. Like I really love the pressure, the pain that's come from it, because I hope that I'm getting almost every excuse that somebody could give me to tell me that they can't do it, so I can go back and go like, hey man, if I did it, I'm ordinary, man. Like you could do it too. Because there's some level of greatness inside you. And it doesn't have to be the run around America, but whatever it is, Daryl, you can do it too. So that's what I hope we have people get out of it,
And I have faith that you're definitely going to get this done, man. Like seriously. I've been thinking about this for like the last couple of days, man. Especially after like our last meeting, and what you talked about, what you plan on like accomplishing, even like outside of that. And I'm like, man, this dude is genuinely going for greatness. And not only that, it's not like this is something that's just going to start in the beginning of next year. Yeah. You've been on this path already for a while now, man. Yeah. So it's nothing new. And the one thing that you just said, I was just speaking to my sister about like a couple of days ago about overcome what you're going through now, because somewhere down the line, when you become 30, 35, you're going to be talking to a girl that's once in your situation and once in your shoes, and you're going to tell them exactly how to overcome it due to the fact that you've experienced it and you got through it. But the most important thing is you have to get through it. You got to get through it. And there will be other people that's going to be like looking at you. And ultimately speaking, that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing personally right now. You know, it's I think it's like at the core root of our being and how God built us to like genuinely speaking is naturally to help and inspire other people that's going through dark and rough times and showing them like, listen, I've been through hell and back 14 times. There's a 15 in you.
Yep.
I promise you.
Yep.
I promise you. And that's why, like, I say, personally, for me, what you're doing is very moving, man.
Right.
Because it's just pushing the limits of what your body can do, and also showing that the spirit of God is essential in the essence of how you get through all of it, even when you're not running, but your family, friends, everything, literally, absolutely everything. And that right there is a message that I would love to put out there for the people to hear, man, no matter where they're at. Like right now in this podcast, randomly enough, I don't know how, but the majority of my listeners come from Germany.
Wow.
Which is shout out to everybody that's like listening out there. But randomly, I would have never guessed, like I said, 5 years ago when I started doing something like this, that half of the people that listens and taps in, it surprises me, man.
Amazing. That's cool.
It's so cool, man. Like it really, really is cool. But to connect like a person like you, like out there, to really, really show people what they're capable of by really digging deep and going out there and getting after it every single day. That is one thing that's like very important to me, man. Seriously.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate having me on to talk about it. I love talking about it. I love that we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your journey. I did want to ask you. I did want to ask you this. What is your favorite Bible story? Your favorite verse?
Yeah. So it's a two-verser, if that's all right. But so I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but I'm
Cool
gonna give
with
you the
it.
two.
I'm cool with it.
So if you're at home sitting there and you have a scripture in front of you, look it up. Romans 12, 11, 12.
Mm.
I'm assuming you want me to say the quote, yeah? Or
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it really slow because I want to break it down. So the first piece is not slothful in business.
Mm.
So whatever business, like I don't think that means like the job you go physically do. Like business means whatever your business is in life, taking care of your kids, being a good husband, right? So just keep that in mind. So not slothful in business means active in business, doing it, right? Fervent in spirit. So if you are fervent in spirit, it means like you are just lit on fire in spirit. So God's telling us, don't be slothful in business. Be excited in spirit. Be the light that people go like, oh man, see, Chris is the exception. Like everybody else is talking about how bad life is. Look at Chris. He's not. Look at Daryl. He's not. Oh, cool. I want to be like him. Not because it's about me, but because I want to be firm in spirit. So the light shines through. So people go like, oh my goodness, why is Chris like that? Oh, he's like that because of God. Okay, okay, it's not Chris. I want God. Right? Oh, it's not. I like Daryl, but it's not Daryl. It's God. Okay, I want God in more of it. So I know I'm going slow, but go with me. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit. Fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So don't be slothful in your business. Be fervent in spirit and serve the Lord with those things. Okay, so that's 11. Then 12 is this. Do you have any questions about 11?
No.
Okay, cool.
You're doing amazing right now. Keep going.
Cool. Okay, cool. So that's 11. So 12 is let's see, rejoicing in hope. So man, like if you are wherever you're at in life, we always want better. So rejoice in that God is providing like hope to you because it can be better. So rejoice in hope. Man, I'm excited for that hope. Man, I'm excited for a better day. Okay. Patient in tribulation. So having patience during the hard times, because that is where that's the refiner's fire, man. That is the breaking that causes the remaking. So patient in tribulation. And then continuing instant in prayer. So have patience in your tribulation and then stay continuing in prayer all the time as much as possible. Because if you are doing those other two, then you're staying in prayer, like you're staying connected to God. So you're staying excited, fervent in spirit, rejoicing in hope. And then you can handle the patience during the tribulations because you have the closeness to God because you're staying in prayer. So those are my favorite two verses.
And I'm glad that you even like broke that down, man.
Thanks.
That's deep stuff. Like seriously, man. And with that being said, that literally would cover the grounds for a lot of things in so many different aspects of your life, whether you at the height of it or whether you at in the valley of it, man. You just simply stay in the course, no matter what. And is there anything that you want to leave off for the people?
Yeah.
And regards to like how to reach out to you and like a message of some inspiration, man, and motivation for.
Yeah, of course, man. So like you can find me on social media. It's at Chris Avery Coaching, at Chris Runs America. You can go to chrisrunsamerica.com and you can find us there too if you just want to like link in. We'll, let you know as we get closer. We'll track down time and say, here's the launch time. And we have a little tracker and stuff if you want to be part of that and just be part of, making part of this maybe more your mission than just us. Because it's not about us. It's about you finding your little piece in it too. Maybe it's you come out and you run 2 miles with your daughter and you give her a high five and like that's a cool, incredible story that you just created with your daughter because you just decided to come out and run with us. So with that said, I'll say this, man. This is the last thing I want to say. No matter where you're at, like if you are just crushing it or if you are just getting crushed, don't give up. Because if you're crushing it right now, there'll be times where it's crushing you. So don't give up. If you're getting crushed right now, there'll be times where you're crushing it. So don't give up. Because the true, like when people say I failed, the only failure you really have is quitting. And if you have something right now, if like any of the stuff that Daryl and I talked about, if it hits something inside you, you know that there's something like that is calling you for a reason. And it's calling only you, nobody else. So keep that in mind. Like the gift, how you will deliver it, how you will create it, how you will create it with God in this world will only happen from you. So if you die with that in you, the world missed that opportunity to see a little piece of God in you. So don't ever give up. Keep pushing forward, even if it's one step. And if you can't walk one step, then crawl one step. But find incredible people like Daryl, get around him and let him breathe life into you. Tune into this podcast more and more and let it breathe life into you. Let it be your filtering system because we all need good filtering systems to design the best life that we want and God wants for us.
Man, this I ain't even gonna lie. My bad for all the previous guests that was on here. You just climbed up the rank, man. Climbed up the rank, man. Like I appreciate your words of wisdom to me. I appreciate your words of wisdom to the audience. And please, people, tap in, man. Tap into what he's got going on. You guys already know. I'm gonna put everything in the description below, but also tap into the journey, man. And let's all be a part of it together, man, through the spirit of God and God's willing and God's speed. And I also thank you and I appreciate the time that you took out of your day, man, to come hang out on the podcast, man, and share your journey and share your words of wisdom, man. I appreciate it, seriously.
Heck yeah, Daryl. I had a great time, man. This was almost as much fun as our pre-conversation that we had before.
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, people like, man, as soon as we had like our Zoom meeting last week when I first met him, man, it was just like off the rip, man.
Yep.
Just like great conversation and a very cool person. Seriously, man. So please, people, support what he's doing, man. Like that's all I ask of y'all, man, and stay tapped into his journey. And yet again, Chris, I really appreciate you for being on here. This was awesome.
Of course. Thanks, Daryl, man.
Of course. And everybody, y'all know it. Serve your purpose. Deuces. I'm out of here. Love y'all. Man.